51st Avenue are one of the most energetic and exciting bands to be emerging out of Sydney at the moment. Their latest single, Remnant, is going gangbusters, and for good reason. It's punchy, alternative rock with soul-laden lyrics. You are tuned into the Heavy Podcast and I'm Ez. Stick around and listen to my conversation with Aly and Ash from 51st Avenue.
Leaving such an unlawful pain, slowly taking your mind and sanity away. We don't know what to do.
Welcome to the Heavy Podcast, guys. How are you this evening?
Very good, thank you.
So good. Thank you for having us.
No, cheers for joining. It's sort of smack bang in the middle of when most people would be having tea. So I super appreciate you spending your evening with me right now. If you don't mind, would you give the listeners a rundown on a little bit of 51st Avenue's background so they can get to know who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. I'll start since I'm one of the founding members. So I'm Aly, I'm the singer, and I founded 51st Avenue with our drummer and one of my best mates, Scott, and the rest was history. Decided to make some music. Our original guitarist is also one of Scott's best mates. And during COVID, wasn't feeling the passion for it anymore. So he was like, I'm going to help you guys find a new guitarist. And then along comes Ash.
Hi, Ash.
Hello. So my path into the band was kind of similar, I guess, where, COVID first hit and I was a little bit, I guess, deflated by the whole thing. So I was originally living in Queensland. So I moved back to Sydney, took a 6-month break from music to just sort of, resettle myself. And then as the lockdowns were lifting, decided to just jump onto Facebook and casually look for a new project. And
Neck Minute?
yeah, that's it. Next minute. Now I'm in 51st Avenue.
Yeah, sick. That's awesome. So you guys have an EP and a slew of singles under your belt, but your latest release is a song called Remnant, and that's going great guns from what I can tell. How are you finding the reception to this single?
Probably it's better than anything we've ever experienced. It's been above and beyond anything we could have ever dreamed of so far. Yeah, it's just that simple.
Yeah, I think it's been really cool. Every time we release a song, it's awesome to see great reception. But then to have people actually tell us, verbally tell us, or like online, let us know that, hey, we feel it. We feel what you're putting down, or we, have experienced it firsthand, or, it actually touches me like that as well. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so the song is about substance abuse, right? And that is a pretty heavy topic, but I do think it's one that many people would be able to relate to in some capacity. So would you care to give us a bit more of an in-depth insight into the topic of the song and how you came to write it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it wouldn't be an everyone thing, and it wouldn't be, I think it's more that we had experienced at least having someone in our lives go through, whether it is substance abuse or any kind of addiction that really does change a person. And originally, Scott and I thought, let's write about something that we both can really pick, can really see, and we've seen it together, and then how it affected us differently as well, as two different people, two different friends, or two different people in their lives. And let's write about how that person doesn't really come back from it, because that's the reality for some people, unfortunately. I'm very well aware that there are those who can successfully beat addiction, and that's amazing. But the very specific incidences we were thinking of when writing it was someone who hasn't been able to beat it, and may have beaten the addiction, but has not come out the same because of it.
That completely resonates with me. And I think to discuss this stuff is in no way a disrespect for those that have overcome addiction, but it is an unfortunate reality that many don't. And it's hurtful and traumatic as a friend or a family member to see a loved one become a ghost of themselves due to addiction, substances. And it's in those feelings of hurt and trauma that we can turn to songwriting as a way to come to terms with that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
I just like you said, in terms of reaching out to people, I think one of the hardest and easiest things about songwriting is trying to be quite genuine to yourself, trying to be true to yourself when you're writing music, but then also making sure that can relate, because there are people out there and there are people who go through the same things, and that's art. That's how people are going to see it, view it, and hear it. Whether they're hearing the exact same story or they're having their own spin on it is how it's meant to be interpreted, I reckon.
I would completely agree with that. And the power of music is that the listener's interpretation is as powerful as the songwriter's intention, even if the two are vastly different. And I can see why this song has totally popped off for you guys, because if you're tapping into shit that is real and express real emotions, people look into that and suddenly you're connected, you know? As an artist, if you're speaking your truth, you are guaranteed to lock in with someone somewhere. There's no doubt about that. Where do you guys ordinarily find inspiration for your lyrics?
With the EP that we had started off with 51st Avenue, it was very much pick a theme and write around the theme, just to make it a lot easier for us in terms of writing. So they were very much, personal experiences or stories or, events in our lives that we could bring to life through music. But then as the singles started coming through, they started becoming a lot more, like the events started becoming a lot more recent or a lot closer to us, and just a lot easier to write because of that, because of those personal experiences that aren't just themed anymore. They were kind of like, the music was laid out and it was like, what are you feeling for this song? And the lyrics would flow and you kind of hear it and go, I know exactly what you're kind of talking about. And it just flows a bit easier that way.
I love that. This is a bit of a boring statistics question, but what are your opinions on releasing EPs versus singles? You've done both, and I know your EP was released in the earlier days of the band, but have you noticed a difference with how an EP performs versus singles?
I think the way that, and I'm going to use the word industry, but I don't want to use the word industry. I think the way that the music scene is right now is that singles get a lot more reception. And I think it's just because of the current state of technology. Like everything is so instant, everything is so now. Like we open up our phones and Instagram is right there and eBay is right there, and next business day shipping, and the world has gotten so fast that we don't have time for EPs anymore. People just want quick, short, to the point songs. They just want to hear singles. Concept albums, in my opinion, are out the door. That people don't have the time to sit and listen to a 1-hour album anymore, good or bad as that may be.
Don't have the time or don't have the willingness, don't have the attention span.
Yeah, exactly it. So singles has been the way to go. On the flip side, though, to release a single is a lot easier, from the writing process all the way through. Because it is just a single song, you can get it out a lot quicker. So the turnover of new material is a lot quicker, and we get to have a lot of fun with it. We get to do music videos for each of our tracks. We get to really sort of sink our teeth into whatever the concept is for that song, and really see it through end to end.
Yeah, I suppose it's like giving every song the time it deserves then.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's an ever-changing landscape, really, what's the most effective way to release music. And certainly in my own experience releasing music with my band, we noticed EPs don't really hold listener attention and that singles do better. So I guess if you're trying to play the game right now, singles do seem to be the way to go if you want to see your songs thrive. Although it's horses for courses, right? Like I acknowledge that that's not the case for every band.
Yeah, that's right. And we've kind of noticed that each single has a lifespan of anywhere between 2 to 4 months. At the end of the 4th month, it sort of starts to die off a bit. So our plan for this year was 4 singles to sort of split them up at, 3 months each. That way we can then sort of get the maximum out of what we're putting in. So hopefully we can stick to that timeline and things don't blow out again like last year. But, that's the fun of being in a band.
You guys had Julian from Inertia doing guest vocals on Remnant as well. So what was it like collaborating with him?
He is a next level human being and musician. We didn't think that we were going to have any collaboration with anyone specifically. It wasn't a plan or anything, but I'm so glad he jumped on this track. The sound works. Singing with him is amazing too. Like not just the song, the latest single. He actually helped with a lot of the other things that we were doing vocally, just helping me out. But singing with him on Remnant was really cool. And I thought that you need to jump on. when writing Remnant, with most of our songs is the same case, but with writing Remnant specifically, Scott and I had a very specific person in mind, I had a very specific event in mind. And I thought just artistically, it would sound really awesome if I had a male vocalist on there to just sort of represent us and have that kind of point of view seen, sort of looking that way. And he was incredible. He's amazing. We have a similar like background, like I've got that growing up with that R&B vocals and then going into like rock and stuff. So I loved it. Loved singing with him and then loved hearing him sing. So I'm really glad he jumped on that track. It was perfect for him.
Yeah, awesome. You've sort of already answered a question that I had leading on from that, which was how do you decide if a song has room for a guest feature, and do you write the song around that with that in mind from the beginning? So you've kind of answered that no. So at what point in the writing process did you go, there's room for this here? And did that change the way that you structured the song from the start? Like, did you have to make alterations to the song to fit him in there, or how did that go?
Not at all. In fact, the chorus and verse he had done, I had already recorded vocals for. We were listening to it, the entire song front to back, and he was like, I really dig it, like really like it. And I was like, yeah. And then he was saying, it almost sounds like an Inertia track. And I was like, yeah. And it just sort of really, I was like, maybe you could jump on. And like, I think as I was saying it, he was also trying to hint at it, like maybe I could jump on. And so I think it sounded nice. It wasn't a matter of, hey, look, like begging you to jump on the track, or hey, look, begging to be on the track. It was very natural and very shy, but I think that's why it worked so well, because I was like, take that chorus and that verse. I love a feature, which 51st Avenue have not been able to do. But when I hear a feature on an artist, and everyone's going to do it differently, I don't like. Again, it just depends on how you're meant to make the song, right? Sometimes you have a feature that's, for lack of a better word, little. And I thought, no, you're featuring Julian. Let's give him more than just a line or two. Give him almost a whole verse and give him a chorus, because I think it was stronger that way as well. And like you said, the way we had written it wasn't for a collaboration, but it was two voices in our head, two stories in our head that we could meld into one. And most of our songs are kind of like that, whether it's Ash's words or mine or Scott's. The songs are written that way, but the decision to have him on there was very last minute and very, very naturally done. So, I mean, Ash and I always joke about trying to write songs with a particular feature in mind, like surprise artists and stuff, but it's yet to be done. So we're still trying to execute that.
I love that this happened very organically for you, though, because, yeah, it seems guest vocalists are very on trend at the moment. And you're very right in how you said often their contribution to a song is minimal. And it's almost just for the sake of being able to say your song has a feature artist. But, yeah, I do think Julian really, really suits this song beautifully and sounds like he should be there.
Yeah.
And you can definitely tell, like, when a collab is done well, it's perfection, and then when it's done just for the sake of chucking another artist on a song, it stands out a mile away.
Yeah, could not agree more. Yeah,
I feel like I cut you off a second there, Ash. You were about to say something and I went on my little tangent.
No, I've just noticed in the background, you might be able to see it, our band computer is just blue screened.
Oh, blue screen of death.
That's right.
Ash is our techie guy.
I also noticed you had a dog on the screen before too, and you can't put dogs on screen around me. It's very distracting.
Yeah, no, that's Scott's little puppy. That's Evie, the band mascot.
Evie. See, because Evie's gone now, and all my brain is saying is, "Where's the dog? Where's the dog? Where's the dog?" There was a dog. There was a dog. There was a dog.
She's eating. She's fine. Yeah.
Well, moving on, I am very easily distracted by dogs. So I really want to ask about this one. You guys have a killer following on Twitch and Discord from my research. Now, I like to kid myself into believing I'm across all the social media platforms, but in actuality, I'm old and really unfamiliar with Discord and Twitch. I mean, I thought Twitch was a gaming thing, so that shows how much I know. What kind of content are you guys creating on these platforms?
So Twitch, we started doing during the COVID lockdowns. I think it was during the lockdowns of 2021. And we were getting a little bit frustrated, not so much frustrated. We were disappointed that live gigs were not happening.
Weren't we all?
Yeah. And our At the time, we were under a management company, and our manager had suggested, why don't we look at Twitch and, just start playing covers on Twitch, doing song requests and things like that, and just see what happens. And so we didn't really, we looked into it, and yeah, like Twitch actually has a section just for music streamers who do all kinds of things. Most of them are playing covers, but you also have producers on there as well. So we just got a little webcam, and we set up in our headquarters. I won't give too much away. And we started streaming one day, and we had one or two people that came in and started following us, and it was really just something that we did for fun, to sort of take our mind off the fact that there were no gigs happening. And we're almost 2 years in, and we're getting pretty close to 1,000 followers on Twitch.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's just covers, it's just song requests. We play our originals. We've taken part in a number of Twitch festivals, and yeah, it's been really fun.
See, these are the little seeds that are planted out of the tragedy that was lockdowns, because bands have discovered all these little new avenues to get their music out there and keep going. I thought about it earlier after you spoke about joining the band yourself, Ash, and it being around the time of the pandemic. And I think that's a really cool thing too, because so many bands folded during that time without gigs and the inability to get together and jam and create and whatnot. A lot of bands just found it way too hard, and they didn't forge on, whereas you guys have made the best of a bad situation and actually probably grown stronger in that time frame, which is super cool. Pat on the back for you guys.
Thank you.
It's been very rewarding. I think, like Ash said, when it was hard for us to play live, we're playing virtually live, and there was an entire target audience like that was untapped. People who are introverted, don't want to leave the house, or couldn't leave the house during COVID. But this is also people who are worldwide. And while we were gigging for our local gigs and getting our music out there, and Spotify, of course, is available for everyone, we were finding viewers who were on the other side of the world. And we had to keep track, because people were coming in and saying, hey, you guys are from Sydney. Like, people from London, America, New Zealand were all jumping in. And time zones are a strange thing on Twitch also. Like, we're doing a show and we have to advertise that we're on at the same time, our time. And people are waiting their time in their time zone for us to play, to stream. And I just thought that's insane. To want to see a band play live, which we might have done, once a month, or if that, is one thing. But to have a dedication of people just even waiting at the computer or TV, waiting for you to just stream covers and just have fun with you guys for a few hours once a week, I thought that blew my mind. Like, we couldn't be more grateful for the Twitch community that has evolved from that.
Yeah, that's so cool. And so have you continued that once a week since the lockdowns ended?
We've actually increased our streaming frequency now. So we do the full band streams on a Wednesday. Scott does a solo drum stream on Fridays. Aly has started doing streams on Mondays as well. And then every now and then I'll do a tech stream on the weekend.
Oh God.
Running through random tech stuff.
That's crazy. That's super dedication. That's awesome. So what kind of advice would you give to bands on how to sort of make the most out of platforms like Twitch and Discord?
Just start. That's it.
Do you need sort of any specific equipment or anything like that to make it sort of sound a bit more pro or look a bit more pro? Or this is a question for you, Mr. Tech Guy.
Yeah, I mean, like we're still using webcams, and the cameras is the most expensive part of the setup. We've actually met so many other bands and musicians who also stream, such as another local band in Sydney called Amber Lights. And last weekend we actually caught up with them, and we had a few drinks in the city, and we were talking to them about their setup, and they said that their cameras are actually quite expensive. They're using proper DSLRs, which have got 4K capability, and that's what you want if you want the stream to really look good. But I mean, a standard Logitech webcam will be fine. That's what we use. In terms of the audio, I mean, we're all musicians, so we've already all like most likely got top tier audio equipment. So that's not really anything you need to worry about. The one thing that we did purchase that has enhanced our sound astronomically was a hardware compressor. You can use software compressors in the streaming software, but I only found that after I'd bought the hardware.
It's always the way.
That's it.
Now, I understand as well, just getting off that onto a new topic, I understand that the band worked with Steve Canatelli, who's a band coach. How was that experience, and what do sessions with Steve entail?
Be ready to almost die in a great way. It was intense.
Yeah, he's like a drill sergeant. That's probably the most accurate way to describe Steve. He will fix any part of your performance because that's what he's mainly focused on, is your stage performance and your stage presence. He will fix any problems with that and really get you performing at your peak. And I mean, I'm a little bit of a bigger guy, and Steve was pulled no punches whatsoever in telling me that I need to get to the gym.
I was about to say, is it recommended that you start PT sessions a couple of weeks leading up to working with Steve just to get ahead of the game?
Yeah. If you can jump on a skipping rope and go for 30 minutes straight without stopping, then you'd be ready for Steve.
Oh shit.
It's definitely the endurance needed because it's back to back and it's all day. And we actually did only a 2-day session. And while musicality and performance was definitely the main of all of that, we really wanted to take care of him. We wanted to make the most of the time that we had with him. So we took him out for lunch, dinner, breakfast, even some of them, and even just chatting with him, just even the knowledge he has, not just about performance and stage presence or anything like that, but just about the band itself or the people in the band or problems that could arise with the band. He is an encyclopedia in there. Like talking to him about all that kind of stuff was incredibly enlightening, and I thought that was also all the nuggets of gold we needed for things like that. Also, like that we didn't think that we'd get out of it. Not that I thought he was not going to know anything, but just I really thought we got the most out of having him here with us, which is what we wanted, which is what you need. And in the same way, he really knew how to get into our heads and knew how to really meld. I mean, we're already really great friends in this band, but we really just, it was like coming around to something that's like, yes, like a real light bulb moment.
I've heard nothing but great things from people's experiences with him. So yeah, it's just awesome to hear that you had expectations and he exceeded them.
Oh yeah, well and beyond.
So what's the best piece of advice that you've ever received as a musician?
Well, I mean, the only piece of advice that I've received actually came from Bill Kelleher of Mastodon. I had a meet and greet with him, and his advice was, don't quit your day job. I mean, I think, like, for me, like, my advice to other young musicians is you have to do it for the love of it. If you're doing it to chase fame and fortune, then you're in it for the wrong reasons, and you'll be forever unhappy. If you're doing it because you really love doing it and it is your passion, regardless of the outcome, then that's perfect. Then you've already won. As soon as you pick up your instrument, as soon as you step on stage, even if you're playing to 1 or 2 people, you've already won because you're living your dream.
Preach, bro, preach.
Yep.
I'd have to say something extremely similar, and I totally agree. I think the best advice I was given was, you do it for you. And exactly like Ash said, if you're not doing it for yourself, there is no reason that you should be doing it. And you know, your decisions are going to come first. What the decisions you make are going to make you happy come first, because there's a lot of people that you got to please, and that's, you know, music is there for everyone to enjoy. But if you're the one making it and you're not enjoying what you're putting out there or making or enjoying making it in the first place, I think you're gonna have a hard time. People ask all the time if writing is easy or hard, and I always say it's both. And I think that's why it's so rewarding and so fun to do. Also, we have a great band that we're able to do this together with. I think you always hear about those bands that struggle to do these things together, or they're not always on the same page, and that's going to happen. That's human beings, but we've been very lucky that we're almost always on the same page, or we've always got the same goal in mind, and we have fun together, making music and just being around each other.
And you know what? That shows so much in both a live performance, but it shows on social media. It shows in the songs, the composition of the songs. And it's something to really cherish, I think.
Yeah, thank you. It's I do kind of feel that we're all that it is a family, that we're all kind of siblings, so to speak, because like it's not going to be a fairy tale where we all get along all the time. There are going to be times when we will clash heads. I don't think it's happened yet, but I'm not oblivious to the fact that there will be disagreements at some point in the future. I just don't know when.
Yeah. And you can have clashes without egos being involved, and I think that's the big hurdle that some bands come across, is that they let their egos get in their way instead of just being like, dude, I think your idea sucks, but can we work around this somehow? You know what I mean? You should be able to have those moments and it not cause rifts. And I think that's like with any family, any friendship, any relationship.
I 100% agree. And I think that would probably more closely emulate what we probably already do. I think Ash is absolutely right. We've never had disagreements or arguments, but the clash is just in opinion or idea, and it's never been a huge blow up. It's always been, I think, like Ash said, like family we're quite honest, and I think it's not hard to show each other our own opinions and our ideas of each other's ideas, and then see it in some sort of perspective where we can all go, yeah, okay, that makes sense. You got it. It's all good. And it doesn't, I want to say diffuse, but that's not even the right word, because it's never blown up in the first place. Like you said, they're just opinions, and they're discussions, really. And I think that's also very fun, that we have a mature enough bunch of people who can be honest with each other and don't have to worry about being so hot-headed about ideas and things. It's been very enjoyable.
Now, I noticed that I've got the clock counting down now till Zoom kicks me off. So what have you got planned really quickly? Because we've got like a minute and a half to go. What have you got planned for the rest of the year?
Rest of the year is we've got a recording session booked in. We've got one single which has just come back from mastering. We've got another one that just needs some lyrics put to it. We're just going to be working on some new music, trying to get it out as quick as possible. And that's pretty much it that we've got planned right now. But tomorrow is another day.
Nice. Well, look, it's been super lovely chatting with you both, Aly and Ash. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm keen to hear more music, and I would love to catch you guys down in Melbourne sometime.
Thank you. We hope to get down there very soon.
Part of the plan.
Nice. I'll be keeping my eye out.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
No worries. Take care, guys. Remnant is the latest single by 51st Avenue, and you can find it on all the streaming platforms, so get your ears around it today. Go and give them a follow on social media to keep up to date with future releases and live shows, and of course, get around their live streams on Twitch. I've been your host, Ez. Cheers for listening to the Heavy Podcast.